Good evening, everyone. I'm Gisami Amorji Valduisa, your reporter for tonight. Last time, we will discuss what is gender-based violence and the agents or the subjects who are involved in it and the survivor, the perpetrator, among others. And now, I'm gonna discuss the meaning of the three important concepts behind gender-based violence: the power, the use of force or violence, and the informed consent. Power. Perpetrator can have real or perceived power. Some examples of the different types of power and powerful people are the following. Social. Parents. Parents, they have social power as a primary caregivers. They are one who influence their children development, values, and behavior through guidance, discipline, and the provision of resources. Teachers, they have social power as the educators and the role model. Leaders, they have social power due to their ability to influence others and shape outcomes. Bullying, the misuse of social power to harm others. And the last is the peer pressure. They exert social power to influence each other behaviors, attitude, and decision to conform to group norms. Economic power. The perpetrator controls money or access to goods, services, money, favors. Sometimes a father and a husband. Uh, Father and the husband, they have a economic power because they have a responsible for providing financial support. Political. Political is the elected leaders, discriminatory laws, and the President of the Philippines. Physical. Physical power involves strength, size, use of weapons, security, soldiers, police, robbers, and gangs. Security and the soldiers, they are trained to use physical power to protect people, property, and the national interest. Police authorized to use physical power to enforce law, maintain public order, and to protect citizens from harm. Robber may use physical power to commit criminal activities or coercion to achieve their goals. Gangs often use physical power to assert control over territory and engage criminal activities and intimidate rival gangs or community members. Gender-based social. Males are usually in a powerful position than females. And the last is the age-related. Often, the young and elderly people have less power. Power is directly related to choice. The more power one has, there are more choices available. The less power one has, fewer choices are available. While the empowered people have fewer choices and therefore more vulnerable to abuse. Unequal power relationships are exploited or abused. Use of force or violence. Force might be physical, emotional, social, or economic nature. A physical force can manifest in various forms of abuse such as hitting, kicking, choking, punching, and slapping. Emotional, it can cause psychological or mental abuse. Social social is the discrimination or bullying. Or economic in nature. Economic violence often issues such as unequal distribution or of resources, labor rights abuse, and the financial inequality. It may also involve coercion or pressure. Force also includes intimidation, threats, persecution, or other forms of psychological or social pressure, like blackmailing, stalking, cyberbullying, or or the other forms of psychological nanawala violence that have severe emotional and mental health consequences of the victim. The target of such violence is compelled to behave as expected to do what is being requested for fear of real and harmful consequences. Like example, the husband and the wife. The husband forced his wife to give him a money to buy alcohol, but his wife refused to give him money. So uh, the husband pressured his wife. So he used the physical violence. It's like he slapped his wife, or but he slapped his wife. Violence. Violence consists of use of physical force or means of coercion, such as threat, inducement, or promises of a benefit to obtain from weaker or more vulnerable person. Using violence involves forcing someone to do something against her or his will, is use of force. Like example na ko gay na katong husband and wife. Nya gi-force niya yang wife to give him money, but the wife refused. So he used the physical violence or means. Informed consent means saying yes or agreeing to something. Uh, while the informed consent means making informed choice freely and voluntary by an equal power relationship. So, the acts of gender-based violence without informed consent, uh, like sexual assault, domestic violence, and human trafficking. Even if she say yes, this is not true consent because it was said under duress or force. The perpetrator used some kind of force to get say yes. Um, Children under age of 18 years old uh, are deemed unable to give informed consent for acts such as female genital cutting or female genital mutilation. What is female genital cutting? It is a harmful practice that involves the partial or total removal of external female genitalia or total removal of external female genitalia or the other injury to the female genital organs or non-medical reason. So, and the next is the marriage or and the sexual relation. Cycle of violence. Cycle is refers to cycle violence is refers to repeated acts of violence in relationship or abusive relationship. So it starts with a minor incident and moves on to more serious level of violence. It means a repeated action of violence. We all encounter of violence in our childhood, but we experience violence but in a minor level. The cycle of violence may start in a child who is a victim or a witness to violence and may be repeated when the child becomes an adult. The impact of being a victim of or a witness to violence on a child is traumatic. It can make child scared, unhappy, lonely, loss of sleep, confident, blame themselves, loss of sleep, and pick a fight with peers. Children should understand that having conflict is alright, but resolving conflict through violence is not alright. So, when the children understand that the violence is not acceptable, they will grow up into adults who respect others, people. In summary, power and abuse of the same are integral components of gender-based violence, and these components also had an effect to the consent to be given by the survivor. But this consent may be informed or vegetated or is perpetrated. And this violence play along a cycle of being overpowered or giving of consent to the detriment of women and their children. Thank you.